Every 4 years, billions of people stop what they're doing to watch one tournament. A tournament that has created heroes, broken hearts, united nations, and produced some of the greatest moments in sports history. From packed stadiums in Uruguay in 1930 to the massive global spectacle that will be the 2026 FIFA World Cup, this competition has become much more than football. It is a story of dreams, passion, rivalry, and history. So how did the FIFA World Cup become the biggest sporting event on Earth? Let's travel through nearly a century of football history and discover the incredible journey of the World Cup. Today, the FIFA World Cup is watched by billions of people across the globe. Fans paint their faces, decorate their homes, and gather in cafes, stadiums, and living rooms to support their nations. But it wasn't always like this. In the early 1900s, international football was still developing. The Olympic Games hosted football competitions, but there was no dedicated global tournament to determine the world's best national team. FIFA, the international governing body of football, believed the sport deserved its own championship. That vision would change football forever. The first FIFA World Cup took place in 1930 in Uruguay. Uruguay had recently won 2 Olympic football gold medals and was celebrating the 100th anniversary of its constitution, making it the perfect host. Traveling across the Atlantic was expensive and time-consuming, so only 13 teams participated. Most European teams had to travel by ship for weeks just to reach South America. Despite the challenges, history was made. The first World Cup final featured Uruguay against Argentina. More than 90,000 fans packed the stadium in Montevideo. Uruguay won 4-2 and became the first ever World Cup champion. A new era of football had begun. The success of the first tournament encouraged FIFA to continue. Italy hosted the 1934 World Cup and won the title. 4 years later, Italy successfully defended its championship in France. But football's biggest event soon faced its greatest challenge. World War II forced the cancellation of the 1942 and 1946 World Cups. For 12 years, the tournament disappeared. Millions hoped it would someday return. In 1950, the World Cup returned in Brazil. The final stage produced one of football's most famous upsets. Brazil only needed a draw against Uruguay to become champions. More than 170,000 fans filled the legendary American Stadium. Many newspapers had already printed headlines celebrating Brazil's victory. But football had other plans. Uruguay stunned the host nation with a 2-1 victory. The shocking result became known as the Maracanazo, one of the most dramatic moments in football history. The 1950s and 1960s introduced some of the greatest footballers the world had ever seen. Among them was a young Brazilian named Pelé. At just 17 years old, Pelé dazzled fans during the 1958 World Cup in Sweden. His creativity, skill, and goals helped Brazil win its first World Cup title. Brazil repeated the achievement in 1962. Then, in 1970, Pelé led an extraordinary Brazilian team to another championship in Mexico. Many football historians still consider the 1970 Brazil squad one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Pelé became the first player to win 3 World Cups, a record that still stands today. As television technology improved, the World Cup reached more homes than ever before. Fans who could never attend matches suddenly experienced the excitement live. The tournament transformed into a global cultural phenomenon. Countries from every continent began investing heavily in football development. The World Cup was no longer dominated by just a handful of nations. New powers were emerging. In 1966, England hosted the World Cup. Playing in front of passionate home crowds, England reached the final against West Germany. The match produced one of football's most controversial moments. With the score tied, England's Geoff Hurst struck the ball against the crossbar. The ball bounced near the goal line. Officials awarded the goal. Even today, football fans continue debating whether the entire ball crossed the line. England eventually won 4-2 after extra time and claimed its first World Cup title. It remains England's only World Cup triumph. The 1986 World Cup in Mexico introduced another football icon, Diego Maradona. The Argentine captain produced one of the greatest individual tournament performances in football history. In the quarterfinal against England, Maradona scored two unforgettable goals. The first became known as the Hand of God. The second was later called the goal of the century. He dribbled past multiple players before scoring a stunning solo goal. Argentina went on to win the tournament, and Maradona's legend grew forever. As football continued growing worldwide, FIFA expanded the competition. More nations wanted the chance to participate. The tournament evolved from 16 teams to 24 teams in 1982, then to 32 teams in 1998. This expansion allowed countries from Africa, Asia, North America, and other regions to compete on a larger stage. It also produced unforgettable underdog stories. Teams once considered outsiders began challenging traditional football powers. The modern era brought a new generation of stars. Brazil won its fifth World Cup in 2002, becoming the most successful nation in tournament history. Players like Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo captivated audiences around the world. In 2006, Italy lifted the trophy. In 2010, Spain's possession-based football revolutionized the game and earned them their first World Cup title. Then came one of football's greatest rivalries. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo dominated world football for more than a decade. While Ronaldo never won the World Cup, Messi's journey became one of the tournament's defining stories. The 2014 World Cup in Brazil produced one of the most shocking results ever witnessed. In the semifinal, Germany faced host nation Brazil. Few expected what happened next. Germany scored 5 goals within the first 29 minutes. The final score was 7-1. Fans around the world watched in disbelief. Germany later defeated Argentina in the final to win the championship. The match remains one of the most astonishing games in football history. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar delivered one of the greatest endings football fans could have imagined. Lionel Messi entered the tournament knowing it might be his last chance to win the trophy that had always eluded him. Argentina battled through intense matches and reached the final against France. The final became an instant classic. Goals, comebacks, drama, penalties, and unforgettable moments filled the match. After a thrilling contest, Argentina emerged victorious. Messi finally lifted the World Cup. For many fans, it was the perfect ending to one of football's greatest careers. The FIFA World Cup is more than a football tournament. It creates memories that last generations. Children watch their heroes and dream of representing their countries. Entire nations celebrate together after victories. Historic rivalries are renewed. New legends are born. The World Cup connects billions of people through a shared love of football. Few events on Earth can unite so many cultures, languages, and backgrounds at the same time. That is what makes it special. From Uruguay's historic triumph in 1930 to Messi's unforgettable victory in 2022, the FIFA World Cup has delivered nearly a century of incredible stories. It has survived wars, evolved with technology, expanded across continents, and introduced the world to football's greatest legends. And the story is far from over. With the expanded 48-team tournament arriving in 2026, a new chapter is about to begin. New heroes will emerge, new records will be broken, and millions of fans will once again dream that this could be their nation's year. Because in the World Cup, history is always waiting to be written. If you enjoyed this journey through World Cup history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more FIFA World Cup 2026 content. And tell us in the comments,